I don't have a lot of space for other people's emotions lately or for anything unusual, to be honest. And that's more of a vulnerable share, but I I talk a lot about this theory around, the cognitive load, like the mental load, more or less. Not more or less. I don't know why I'm saying that. The mental load generally, and that it is comprised of the cognitive load, so all the information you're getting, etc., but also the emotional load, like your own emotions, others' emotions, and how that mental loads, like you have, let's say, a jar, like you that can fill up to a certain point, or you have enough space, and whatever happens in your personal life also affects your professional life. Like if your personal life is in shambles, your mental load is going to be pretty low when you arrive at work. Like it would be great that it's separated, but I don't think it is. At least for me, it isn't. And lately, there's been a lot of things happening in my personal life, things that I wasn't expecting. And so I find myself being more tired, having less space for my own emotions, for other people's emotions, getting irritated a lot more. And for the first time in a long time, it's hard to get out of that rut. It is. I've noticed the sign. Like, I've noticed that physically, my back will hurt more easily. So, what I've done is just making sure that I relax more, making sure that I work out my upper body, because usually that helps. Since I work a lot on a computer, generally I'm more prone to getting like to getting hurt, or to at least like not feel great in the top of my back. So having a good setup, like being sitting straight, having a good computer setup, all those things help. And then relaxing. I found as well that mentally it will be harder to focus. I think that's a sign for me that I am more tired and I have less space mentally, emotionally, is that I'm having a harder time focusing during meetings, or on what other people tell me when they're telling me a story, when we're having conversations. Sometimes I find myself drifting away. And then emotionally, definitely, I will feel more easily irritable, more easily angry, um, more easily just tired, like wanting to cry more easily. I don't know if that's the case. Like when I finally find spaces for myself where I am on my own and I meditate, or I stop, or I do nothing, I will sometimes need to cry because that's the way for me to release emotions. But no, it's really more about irritation. So I try to remind myself that my colleagues, people around me, it's not their fault what's happening. So I shouldn't take this out on them. And I've been pretty good at not doing it. But still, it's hard. I've been pretty good at leaving space for other people's emotions as we are going through these things together. And then behavior-wise, what I tend to do in those moments is I socialize less, just because I feel tired, so I don't really want to socialize. But it's kind of a vicious circle, right? Like socializing is also what helps me to recharge my battery. So if I don't do it, then I also get more tired. So those are some of the signs, like emotionally, mentally, physically, and in terms of behaviors, that tell me that right now I'm in a space where my mental load is bigger and I have less space for other things. And I found it hard to get out of it, because when your mental load is bigger due to things that are outside of your control, it's not like when I had my multiple sclerosis diagnosis, I felt like a lot of things were in my control, so I could just go and focus on that. I think this is also why, I'm doing these videos, and I've had that project to start my YouTube channel for so long, because I wanted to share what's happened to me and how I work through it, in the hope that it would help some people. I've shared in the past in French, but when I had an Instagram account and a TikTok account, I would share, and I often got messages from people who just got diagnosed, from their parents, saying how much it helped. So I wanted to continue doing this. I felt like it was the If you hear someone, that's my cat. I felt like it was the opportunity to do something positive with what happened to me, give back to a community that also has given to me. And so I think that's an outlet in this period of my life too, let's be honest, it is. But it's been much harder to get out of that phase just because it's things that are happening to others that are impacting me. And so all I can do is be there for them, but I can't do the work for them. I can't even decide to do the work. And if they don't want to do it, it's absolutely fine because we all handle experiences differently, and I also have to respect that. And I've been good at respecting that. But what I've not been good at is handling how it affects me and how I feel out of control about it. I mean, I've not been good. I've been much better thanks to everything I've learned over the years, thankfully, over the past 11 years. But I've not been the greatest either. I think it could always be better, right? So I think in those moments, what I am trying to do is just rely on my discipline, right? We've talked about this, on my routines, trying to get enough sleep, even though it's been a bit hard, and quality sleep, trying to move my body a lot more, going on walks. It's really hot again, like we're going through our 4th heat wave of the year, 3rd, 4th, I don't even know anymore. I think it's the 3rd one. But definitely it's making it harder for walks, at least for going on easy walks in my neighborhood. But still, I think in those moments I find solace in focusing on these things, is talking about this thing, in going to my therapist and talking things through. I think where I can get better is relying on my friends, asking for support. I actually got a message from one of them yesterday and it made me super happy, but I actually haven't answered, so I want more. I'm happy when my friends check in and I want to see them more, but I'm also not taking the time to answer. We're all doing our best, right? Let's just be honest. But I don't really know where I'm going with this video. I just wanted to tell you that even though I share a lot about everything that I've learned, and even though I am very thankful for everything that I've learned, and it definitely makes this period a lot easier than it would have been without all the mindset shifts and all the routines and everything that I've learned from burning out at 23 years old, going through a depression, going through a second depression, getting diagnosed with getting a multiple sclerosis diagnosis. I'm still human, and there are still phases of life that are harder than others. And this is when, even though with everything, like at the end of the day, I think what helps me the most right now, it's not fair to say it helps me the most, but it's the thing that really anchors in everything else, is surrendering and accepting that I'm not feeling my best right now, and it's okay. We're not always happy 100% of the time. We're not always okay, and that is okay. And so not fighting it, continuing to do things that I know will make me feel better, but not fighting it, because when you fight it is when you make it so much harder on yourself. And this is something I have to remind myself constantly. So if you're going through a tough time, I really hope this more vulnerable and less solution-oriented video will help you and will remind you that we're all human. All of us are humans. All of us go through the highs and lows of life. And no matter how prepared you are, no matter how much you do, you're still not immune to feeling this, because you have emotions and things are happening that are out of your control sometimes. So yeah, but we're all in this together. So if you also appreciate those videos, if you want to see more of these shares as well, there is vulnerable shares. To be honest, they're as much for you as for me, as a way to process and voice it out. Like, it might be weird, but sometimes I will. When I edit, I don't really edit it, but when I review the video before posting it, usually a few days after having recorded it, is how I like to work about it and go about it. it's usually helpful. So I even encourage you, even if you don't want to share on YouTube or share publicly, do this for yourself. Record voice memos, record videos, listen to them. Because I think it also helps with processing. At least it's helped me. It's been a good surprise of this getting on YouTube journey and sharing how I've been feeling and sharing how I'm handling everything. So if it's helpful for you, please subscribe and leave me a comment. Let me know if you want to see more of these videos. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow and to chatting more. Have a great day.